Harry's wife, Diana Triangulation. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Triangulation is commonly used by narcissists. Essentially, there are three things that we can triangulate you with: people, objects, events. Sometimes the triangulation will come within the context of another manipulation, such as bringing up the past. So the narcissist might say to you, for example, when you're in the golden period, and that's by way of a respite period, "Do you remember when we went to Crete 5 years ago? It was a brilliant time, wasn't it? We really should go again." And you respond enthusiastically to that, demonstrating that you are under control, and you provide the narcissist with some fuel. The narcissist hasn't brought up that memory to be nice. The narcissist hasn't brought up that memory to make you feel good, just of itself. The fact that you feel good is a requirement as part of the necessity of deeming that you're under control and drawing fuel from you. As always, when the narcissist is interacting or contemplating interacting with somebody else, it's all about the prime aims. So the narcissist, either as an aware narcissist or, more usually as an unaware narcissist, brings up the previous holiday on Crete, bringing up the past, and then triangulates you with that event to cause you to respond to demonstrate that you're under control and provide fuel. It can often be done in the way of saying, "Perform this particular sexual act. My ex used to without complaint. What's up with you? Why are you so frigid?" Here, it's a malign act, rather, and in such circumstances, you're being triangulated with a previous sexual partner, with the narcissist, triangulation by person, and you're compared less favourable in order to cause you to commit the sexual act, thus demonstrating you're under control, and at the same time provide fuel. If you protest, you're giving fuel, but it's challenge fuel, and the narcissist will continue to persist in triangulating you and cajoling you and perhaps threatening you to get that sex act performed. And if you don't, then ultimately the narcissist will move to an alternative form of the assertion of control, perhaps storming off in a huff. Triangulation occurs in lots of different circumstances. We triangulate you with our phone, for instance, with our new car, with clothing, with perfumes, with fragrances. We triangulate you with our friends, our former sexual partners, people at work. Sometimes you're triangulated with somebody that doesn't exist. So the narcissist might make reference to, well, such and such commented on my new haircut and said how much he liked it. No such person did. This is a complete fabrication. But the victim is being triangulated with the fabrication to provoke him to respond, perhaps through jealousy, or to then get his act together to go, "Oh yes, your hair looks lovely, sorry I hadn't noticed," etc. This triangulation occurs many, many times in lots of different ways, and with all manipulations of the narcissist, it is designed to get to the prime aims of fuel, control, character traits, and residual benefits. Harry's wife is no different. As a mid-range narcissist, she triangulates Harry and other people, with events, and with objects. And as reported in the Daily Mail online in an article by Sephora Brennan, we're told, Harry's wife kneeled and put her palms on Princess Diana's gravestone to ask her late mother-in-law for clarity and guidance on the 20th anniversary of her death, Prince Harry reveals. Now, this took place in August 2017, on the 20th anniversary of the death. As we all know, Harry's wife thinks that she's Diana, Princess of Wales, and she regularly triangulates Harry with his dead mother. She did it by wearing the same perfume. She's done it by some of the clothing that she's worn. She did it, for instance, in dressing in a similar style to that of Diana, Princess of Wales, at the funeral that took place recently. She does it in some of the language that she uses. She does it in terms of the adoption of charitable causes, which she ultimately doesn't actually give a fig about, but her narcissism compels her to believe that she does. The death of his mother is a massive vulnerability for Harry. He bangs on about it still, demonstrating two things. the effect that it's had upon him, and the fact that, despite apparent lots of therapy, it's still a raw wound for him. Why? Because his wife knocks the scab off the wound on a daily, weekly basis by resurrecting the memory of Diana and not allowing Harry to heal. You'd have thought by now, at 25 years, that of course he would still miss her and would be affected by what had occurred, but given the fact that he's received therapy and the passage of time, one might have expected that these matters had been dealt with. But it's clear that they haven't, and the fact that they haven't is down to the fact of she keeps resurrecting it. And it's a little bit like Harry's being given a medicine which is actually poisoning him. Here, take more of your medicine, Harry. It'll make you feel better. And he doesn't realise that the very thing that he's swallowing is the thing that's making him ill in the first place. Namely, she keeps triangulating him with Diana, keeping that in mind. Now, this event took place in August 2017, so it was, about 15 months into their relationship, quite early on, and the utilisation of Diana in this fashion is, of course, the use of a vulnerability against the victim. It's triangulation. It shows a lack of boundary recognition. The fact of going along and putting her palms on a gravestone pretty early on in the relationship and sort of asking for clarity and guidance. That sort of hook'em approach to saying, oh yes, she'll be able to provide us with some guidance, is demonstrative of how she has naturally attuned to the way that Harry's mind works, because as a consequence of his own belief systems, he has often thought that his mother is near him, which is quite common for people to think in such terms after the death of a loved one, and particularly in traumatic circumstances. And Harry's wife has cynically, through her narcissism, utilised that against him by repeatedly talking about, oh, her presence is near, she talks through me, I can feel her, she's looking out for you, etc. All of these things which Harry gobbles up and makes him believe, oh, she really understands me and she really cares. And in effect, it's giving him what he wants to believe, and rather than actually helping him. The article states, Prince Harry has revealed how his then girlfriend, Harry's wife, kneeled next to Princess Diana's grave to ask for guidance. Writing in his bombshell memoir, Spare, which went on sale early in Spain, he recalled the first time she visited Diana's final resting place on the Althorpe estate. Harry described how they rode out to the island where his mother is buried on the 20th anniversary of her death. After taking a moment to reflect by himself, he sensed that Harry's wife also wanted to take a private moment. When I returned, she was on her knees, with her eyes closed. I'm sure that's a position he'd seen many times before. Oh, and her palms flat against the stone, he added, that she told him she'd asked Diana for clarity and guidance. The visit would have taken place in August 2017, when the couple had been together for roughly a year. The late princess was laid to rest at her childhood home of Althorpe House, Northamptonshire, in 1997. And the grave was rededicated by the Archbishop of Canterbury in 2017 ahead of the 20th anniversary of her death. It then mentions Elton John and the song that was done for her, and then there's some tributes to Diana, which we don't need to go into the detail of all of that. The point is here that Harry's wife used the vulnerability that Harry has with regard to his dead mother, used it against him, which shows a lack of emotional empathy, was involved in doing so through a lack of boundary recognition by doing this in the first place and putting her hands on the grave, etc. It shows her absence of emotional empathy for him, shows the way that she manipulates him, shows the way, of course, that he's so susceptible to it, that the pain that he's suffered as a consequence of his mother's death, she's used against him again and again and again. What do people say below the line? L7X7, for a guy who says he's all about protecting his family, someone who saw even more media intrusion as a threat to them. Way to go, Harry. Taunting extremists was a genius move. Not. Pepper. Harry has realised that his mother is his biggest draw in terms of media attention, and that is really low. Lambo Lady 67. The disrespect just goes from strength to strength. Red Ken 37. I wish people would live their life and refrain from publicising every action. It really is getting boring now. Eliza Goodbury. This is becoming comedy gold. Someone anonymous. She thinks she's Mother Teresa. They need to be stopped. This just gets worse and worse. Beau Brummel. So the privacy is still going really strong then. Shirley Valentine 66. Why would you even say that? If she did do it, it obviously didn't work. Well, Shirley Valentine, the reasons are as I explained in this video. It's a narcissist controlling her victim. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.